If this episode spoke to your soul, I invite you to subscribe and stay connected to this sacred space. Each week, I share transmissions to awaken your presence, align with your highest self, and remember the beauty of now. Subscribe to Journey with Me and let your listening become a living ritual. Let's start with a question. What has your attention? Is your attention aligned with your intention? And do you attend to your intention repeatedly? A year ago, when I started this podcast, it was during the season of Pagwa or Holi, or at the beginning of spring. And I remember sharing the story of how I started the entire podcast creation. I was feeling a bit down during that time, and I thought to myself, why not channel this negative emotion into something beautiful and positive? And that's when the idea came to start this podcast. And as I reached at the end of season 1, the end of episode 9, I kind of coined this entire work into what I now call the air mindset. The air mindset is the disciplining your attention toward your intention through repetition to create lasting change in a life you truly deserve. This has truly become the cornerstone of my work, and it is a mindset that you can use to govern your everyday activity in your life to better become that version of yourself. And as you go through your day and you start to ask yourself these questions, what has my attention? Is my attention aligned with my intention? And do I attend to my intention repeatedly? You will realize that becoming that best version of yourself encompasses overcoming our negative emotions into positivity and beauty, and standing up for ourselves in our truth, turning your heartbreaks into creativity and art. And you realize that the purpose of being human is to turn our failures, shame, grief, and wounds into awe and wonder. And this is the beauty of the air mindset. The question now becomes, what drives change? Or the question that holds the answers to what we seek is, what drives change? When we say to ourselves and those close to us that I'll change, what we're really saying is, I am seeking personal growth. Change is growth, whether we're navigating broken relationships, stalled careers, declining health, self-sabotaging behaviors, or financial difficulties. We make small but impactful steps by living intentionally rather than autopilot. These steps expand us beyond the habits and conditioned behaviors that have kept us playing small. It is this shift in thought and behavioral patterns that become the blueprint for the change we seek in our careers, our relationships, our finances, our lifestyle, and personal development. The reality is, deep-seated habits and behaviors are ingrained in our subconscious, making change feel daunting due to our evolutionary tendency towards survival and fear. Now, let's use the air mindset and see how we can kind of use it to govern a particular area in our life, whether it's our relationship, our finances, or our lifestyle, our careers, or our personal development. Any particular area, you can use it to kind of like guide you and keep you moving forward and staying present. And we don't want to relive in the past or relive in that same memory. We want to stay in the past so that we can create new memories that dictate the outcome of our future. And this lies the root, then the importance and the significance and the advantage of the air mindset: attention, intention, and repetition. So let's use one particular area in your life, starting with finances, money. you have to get comfortable to talk about your money and your wealth. We all want that financial freedom. We want that financial success. We want the freedom to be able to spend and buy that thing that we want for ourselves, and at the same time having the freedom to spoil the ones we love with luxurious gifts, and at the same time being able to have that security and that safety and that sense of protection and abundance. It is important for you to know that our evolutionary traits were deeply conditioned due to our evolution that kind of perpetuates our mentality of this kind of lack mindset that stems deep from the cave of lack. Our ancestors, they were cavemen, and they lived in constant fear and survival, hiding in the cave because there was some tiger marauding outside, and they had to be waiting for days and days to wait for that pile of snake to move before they can go out and hunt and look for food. So in modern world, we kind of still live in that kind of mentality. We wait and we're so scared to make the phone call to ask the girl out on a date. We're so scared of our boss to ask for a promotion or ask for our raise. We are fearful of asking our partner for something if we want to go out on a date or go travel somewhere. There is this scarcity mindset that we're still reliving, and until we bring awareness to where it all stems from, there's no way that we can start to move forward. And here is where the purpose of the air mindset becomes so much advantageous in our everyday lives and in our careers, in every area of life. So with money, you want to be able to kind of, if you're in a tight position with your finances, you want to ask yourself, what are the conversations that you have with your money? As you were growing up, what were the conversations or the labels or the stigma that were kind of aligned with money? Did your parents quarrel a lot about money? Was there a lot of financial difficulties, like you have to work hard for it? Things don't come so effortlessly in this house, and money is hard, or money is dirty, or money causes conflicts. This kind of negative attitude towards money. So, and when you look at in the present, do you still have that kind of mindset with your money? And if so, you want to start to rewrite your narrative and that understanding the way you treat your money. I love my money. I've recently became comfortable of praising my wealth and praising my money, because when you start to do that, you're noticing that you're letting go of that past, of that kind of old mindset that you were holding with your money. You were scared to talk about it, or you were scared to kind of reveal it, or there was this shame or guilt or something that was aligned with it. So first, we want to remove that negative narrative that we hold about our money. You want to be able to adapt this abundance mindset. And when you want something, let's say you want something maybe to add to your personal development, or maybe there's some sort of luxury that you want, notice your attitude towards that thing that you desire. Is it based in some like a scarcity mindset? Like, oh, I wish I had that. I can't wait to have that. I don't even have the money to have that. Or do you have that kind of attitude where you're adapting in an abundance mindset? You say, oh, I'm going to have that one day. I know I'll get it. Do you feel the kind of difference in how the two attitudes kind of like align with that desire? So what you need to understand is whatever that thing that you desire, if it's a travel, whether it's a relationship, whether it's that job that you want, whether it's a new car, whether it's a new home, you have that treat that thing. That thing is a desire. Desire is love. Desire is emotion. Desire is affection and love and energy. what you need to do is you have to become that desire and kind of align yourself with that thing. So if you want like this new home, right? You want to have your dream home. You kind of like to want to present yourself as being that person who has that home already. How would that person feel? How would she think? How would she act? She would go about thinking that, oh, she has this comfortable lifestyle. She, in that kind of way, you're preparing yourself in advance before that thing actually comes to you, before actually having your dream house. So these are they may sound like very woo-woo, but there is a huge science behind it. And that is attention, intention, and repetition. This all becomes the synergy of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is that it's the power of our minds and brains to shape and mold itself into becoming that thing that we want to align ourselves with. So the more I tell myself that I'm having that house one day, I'm going to start to gather my things up, and this is how I would feel. How would you feel when you move into your new house? You will feel this kind of awe and this wonder and this abundance. And so you are strengthening your neural circuitry to align with that emotion and that feeling of abundance and awe and wonder, that which you would feel when you actually move into your new home. Another second thing that could actually very much improve your ability to attract that desire is you want to look at that self-image of yourself. Like we talked about, in order to have that desire, you want to be able to become that desire. So look at yourself, and what is the current self-image that you have of yourself? It's someone who tends to self-sabotage. What is your thinking pattern? How do you often feel? What are the emotions that you relate to yourself with? Are you all often on the upper scale of joy and love and abundance and excitement and bliss and wonder? Or do you tend to be on the lower scale of the emotion scale, fear and self-doubt and self-shame and self-judge and self-criticism? In order, like we talked about, we want to become that desire of having that house. So someone who lives in a house as you envision for yourself, what is the kind of emotion that person would have? Of course, that person would be living in joy and excitement and awe and wonder. So we kind of want to tap into that emotion, that feeling, and automatically that feeling kind of dictate the way you act. How does that person act who live in that house? How does she behave? So you're thinking, you're feeling, you're acting, and you're behaving, or I like to call fat. Feeling, acting, and thinking, you want to fat your way to success. Feel that feeling of how would it feel like when you have that desire. Prepare yourself in advance and act as if you have it. And there is no woo-woo in there. There's a huge science. We talked about this in a previous episode. Our brains cannot differentiate between an experience that is highly imagined and one that is actually real. So if you can act as if you actually have that desire, you live in that house, your current home that you live in, act as if you already live in your dream house. How would you feel just in your backyard, in your kitchen, in your bedroom, in your living room? How would you feel? Just feel as if you're already living inside your dream home. And then you want to keep thinking it. You think it the way how you think. You wouldn't think that, oh my gosh, I hate my house. I hate this door. It's so old. Oh gosh, this ceiling is falling apart. You want to have, pure positive thoughts about your desire. So you become that desire. And believe me, when you actually manifest your desire, your dream home, it would become so natural to you because you would have already prepared yourself in advance of what it would feel like, well, what you'd be thinking and how you would act when you actually achieve that dream house. So if you can adapt this whole air mindset, attention, intention, and repetition, you want to do it repeatedly. Most importantly, you want to have that feeling, evoke that feeling repeatedly. Don't feel joy today and by tomorrow or this afternoon you just started feeling fear and self-sabotage and self-doubt. Your power lies in your ability to keep feeling and evoking that wonderful, blissful feeling and maintaining these positive thinking patterns and acting as if everything in your life is joy and abundance. Feeling, acting, and thinking. You want to follow that pattern consistently, very consistently. And if you can do that, and every time you feel like you're falling off the scale, it is important for you to bounce back as quickly as you can by just disciplining your attention toward your intention repeatedly. So when you're feeling a little bit like and self-doubt, you just bounce back to that desire, your dream home. How would you feel like? You would feel awe and bliss. What would your thought patterns be like if you're in your new kitchen, if you're in your garage, right? So the air mindset, when we start to practice it and apply it in our daily lives, it becomes a habit. It becomes so natural that when we start to think and act and feel in a certain way, it becomes so natural that we won't even need to look at that desire as a focal point or a point of attention to kind of discipline how we feel, act, and think. We would have become that feeling pattern and the way we act and think, it would become such a habit. We would become it naturally. And that is the power of the air mindset. Discipline your attention toward your intention through repetition. So the air mindset is, synonymous with neuroplasticity, the ability of our brains to mold, reshape, and grow into a new self, whatever we aligning with what we want in our life. And at the same time, it is a practice of mindfulness, disciplining your attention towards the emotions and your thought patterns and the way you're behaving, and aligning it towards your intention, and repeatedly. Repetition. You want to do this consistently. That's how you build new habits. That's how you grow. And when you start to grow and expand and learn and evolve, naturally you're pruning away the old behavioral way of thinking and feeling and acting. So the joy of having a desire, the joy of having that purpose, the joy of wanting something, and the joy of creating something gives you the potential to grow into this new, positive, beautiful, abundant self. And at the same time, you kind of move away from that old version of yourself. So the air mindset, in short, it's a guide to help you to influence your everyday lifestyle and aligning you with that aspect of yourself, that best version of yourself, your highest self, your future self, your best self, whatever self, however you describe that version of yourself. The air mindset helps you to become aligned with that aspect of yourself through disciplining your attention towards your intention through repetition. And you can use this air mindset in any particular area of your life, your relationships, your career, your finances, and your health and your lifestyle. Have a good one now. If this space has nourished you, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a review or share this episode with someone who's ready to receive. Your presence here is part of the blessing. Thank you for walking this path with me.